Right, so the last time I made a video, we were talking about trig functions that were on the unit circle, where we found the x and the y coordinate, and things like sine of theta was equal to y, cosine of theta was equal to x, and we went on from there. But I wanted to show you that we could also use a circle, but not necessarily a unit circle, to do the same exact thing. So for example, in this case, instead of the radius being 1, now the radius is r. So I still take x steps to the right, I still take y steps up to get to this point at x comma y. But now instead of having a radius of 1, I could have a radius of anything. And what this helps with is not as many fractions as we got with the unit circle. And so the radius changes from 1 to r. We still have the Pythagorean theorem, x squared plus y squared is equal to r squared. And so if we took the square root of both sides, that means the length of the radius is the square root of x squared plus y squared. So now, instead of sine being y over, or just y, sorry, it's going to be opposite over hypotenuse, which is y over r. Our cosine value is going to be adjacent over hypotenuse, which is x over r. Tangent is still opposite over adjacent, which is y over x. Our cosecant is the reciprocal of sine, so that's going to be r over y. The reciprocal of cosine is our secant, which is r over x. And, sorry if my picture blocks you, but the reciprocal of tangent is going to be cotangent, and cotangent of theta is x over y. And again, anytime you have a denominator that's not r, then that means that there's a possibility you could have undefined. So we're assuming we're not just talking about a point at the origin, we're talking about a circle that has a radius. All right, so for example, if we take a look at this problem, they're saying that we want the 6 trig ratios for theta if the standard position has us with -3, -4 lying on the terminal side. So if I go to the left 3 and down 4, that would be this point, -3, -4, which would give me this reference triangle. So my original angle would be this whole angle right here, but I'm really only worried about this triangle. If I know the lengths of all the sides of this triangle, or if I know my x, my y, and my r, then I can find all of these values. So notice this is saying I am going 3 steps to the left and 4 steps down, and so I'm looking for the length of my hypotenuse. So we would say -3 squared plus -4 squared is equal to r squared, or we could just say r is the square root of this. So we've got the square root of 9 plus 16, which is the square root of 25, and that makes r equal to 5. So that means we have x is equal to -3, y is equal to -4, and the length of the radius is equal to 5. So this is the information that we're going to use in order to find all our answers. So we said that sine is represented, sorry, who wrote that? Sine is represented by y, so that means the sine, sorry, y over r. So that means that sine is going to be -4 over 5, y over r. Cosine is represented by x over r, and so that's going to be -3/5. Tangent is represented by opposite over hypotenuse, or y over x. So that gives me -4 over -3, but the negatives would cancel, leaving me with 4/3. I would love to say any questions at this point, but since I can't see you, I can't know. So cosecant is the reciprocal of sine, so that's going to be r over y, which is going to be -5/4. And again, it does not matter where that negative sign goes. Secant is going to be r over x, so that means that we're going to have -5/3, the reciprocal of cosine. And then cotangent is going to be x over y, which is going to be 3 over 4. And if you started with -3 over -4, the negatives would still cancel. All right, so if you need more time, go ahead and pause the video. So let's take a look at the next one. So this one is talking about lying at 7, 0. So that's somewhere right about here. And you'll notice it's on the x-axis, so I can't make a triangle. But I still know that x squared plus y squared gives me r squared. So that means my x value is 7, my y value is 0, and I'm looking for r squared. So notice I've got r squared is equal to 49. And if I take the square root of both sides, that means that r is equal to 7. So that means my x value is 7, my y value is 0, and my hypotenuse is also 7. So we're going to keep all 3 of these values here. And so take a moment to pause the video and see if you can find those 6 values. So we've got sine is represented by y over r. So that's going to give me 0 over 7. So then I need to figure out, is that a no situation or is that an okay situation? So no is undefined and okay is 0. So looking over here, this looks like an okay. So that means that the sine of theta is equal to 0. On the next one, cosine of theta is going to be x over r. So my x value is 7 and my r value is 7, and 7 divided by 7 is 1. My tangent value is going to be opposite over adjacent, so y over x. So I get 0 over 7, and again, that looks like an okay, so that's going to be 0. Over here, the cosecant of theta is the reciprocal of this one here, so we would get 7 over 0. And since that looks like a no, that's going to be undefined. Okay. Secant of theta is the reciprocal of cosine, so I still get 7 over 7 or just 1. And then cotangent of theta is the reciprocal of 0 over 7, which is 7 over 0. And again, that's a no situation, making my answer undefined. Then we're going to start messing around with how could we know the least amount and be able to do more with it. So one of the things that we can do is if we know in what quadrant the terminal side lies and we know one of the trig ratios, then we can find the remaining 5 trig ratios. So let's see an example of this. So in reading this question, it says, suppose theta is an angle in standard position whose terminal side lies in quadrant 2. So that's really important to understand. So I've got a terminal side somewhere over here. And it says that the sine of theta is 3 over 5. So again, that's opposite over hypotenuse. So that means that I have, if this is my angle measure, my 3 is opposite and my hypotenuse is 5. And then something to note, the radius will always be positive. And then here the y value is above the x-axis, so it's positive. And so then I can say that 3 squared plus x squared gives me 5 squared. And so I've got x squared is equal to 25 minus 9, which is 16. And that makes x equal to plus or minus 4. But I'll just think of x as a distance. And so you'll notice that means this is 4. But it's to the left of the origin, so that makes this a negative 4. So that means this point would be at 3, negative 4. Sorry, let's try that again. Negative 4, 3. That's what I should have said. So that means I have an x value of negative 4, I have a y value of 3, and I have an r value of 5, meaning a hypotenuse of 5. All right, so pause the video and see if you can find those 6 functions. So the sine is going to be y over r, and so that's going to be 3 over 5. My cosine value is going to be x over r, so that's going to be negative 4/5. My tangent value is y over x, so that's going to be 3 over negative 4. My cosecant is the reciprocal of sine, and so that's going to give me 5/3. My secant value is the reciprocal of the cosine, so that's going to be r over x, which is negative 5/4. And then my cotangent is going to be the reciprocal of tangent, and so we get -4/3. And again, if anytime you feel like I'm going too fast, you can go ahead and pause the video. So the next one we have is going to have a terminal side in quadrant 4, and we have a secant value of √29/5. So in quadrant 4, that means our triangle looks something like this. And then secant is the reciprocal of cosine, so that's going to be hypotenuse over adjacent. So that means that my adjacent is 5 and my hypotenuse is the square root of 29. So if I want to find my y value, I'm going to say 5 squared plus y squared is equal to √29 squared. So I get 25 plus y squared is equal to 29. That makes y squared equal to 4 and y equal to 2, if I think of y just as a length. But notice this 2 is below the x-axis, so it's actually at -2. So this would be the point 5, -2. So I have an x value of 5, I have a y value at -2, and I have an r value of the square root of 29. So again, take a moment to pause the video and see if you could find all 6 measures. So the sine of theta is going to be y over r. So that's going to be -2 over √29, and I'll come back to that in a minute. Cosine of theta is going to be x over r. So that's going to be +5 over √29. And the tangent of theta is going to be y over x, which gives me -2/5. Coming over here, cosecant is the reciprocal of sine, so that's going to be -√29/2. Secant is the reciprocal of cosine, so that's going to be +√29/5. And cotangent is the reciprocal of tangent, so that's going to be at -5/2. So I'm going to box the ones without any radicals, and I'm going to box the ones where the radicals are in the numerator. So those are done. And then I just need to simplify these ones with a radical in the denominator. I'm a little squeezed, so hopefully I can make this happen. And so my sine of theta, let me just write it right here. My sine of theta is going to be -2 √29 over, and then the square root of 29 times the square root of 29 is just 29. And then the cosine of theta is going to be 5 times the square root of 29 over the square root of 29 times the square root of 29 is 29. All right, so again, if you want to pause that to copy things down, feel free. I want to get to one more problem here that's really important. So we're talking about all 6 functions of 150 degrees, which is in the second quadrant. And so if I say alpha plus 150, because this is 150 right here, gives me 180. Then if I subtract 150 from both sides, we get x is equal to 30, alpha is equal to 30 degrees. Now, we used to put a 1 here because we were in a unit circle, but it would be much nicer if I could put a 1 where the t is, which means this one would be 1√3, and this would be at 2. So that means that opposite the 30 would be a 1, opposite the 60 would be √3, and the hypotenuse would be 2. And then my x value is to the left of the y-axis, so really this would be -√3. So this point is at -√3, 1. So that means that I have an x value of -√3, I have a y value of 1, and I have an r value of 2. And that's a lot easier than dealing with the 1/2 and the √3/2s and all that good stuff. So take a moment to pause the video and see if you can find these answers. So for the sake of time and to not have to do a whole nother video for just one last problem, I went ahead and substituted. So we've got y over r is 1/2, x over r is -√3/2, y over x is -1/√3, which simplifies to -√3/3, and then cosecant becomes 2, secant becomes negative 2 root 3 over 3, and cotangent becomes negative square root of 3. Much easier than with fractions.